Okay, so hello and welcome back to the channel. We've got a slightly different video today. I've been running a load of like polls and questions and stuff on my Instagram and also my YouTube in the little community page, and basically something that keeps coming up is people wanting to know my car history. People want to know what my first car was, what I got after that, what modifications I've done to them, what they cost, all this sort of stuff. People keep asking me, so I'm going to do one video and it's going to cover everything, okay? Every single car I've ever had or sort of driven for a sustained period of time, and we're going to go through all of them right from the start, my first car to the cars I've got now and some of the cars coming in the future as well. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, hopefully this is going to be interesting and a lot of you might be able to relate to them. Have you had some of these cars? Do you want some of these cars? Who knows? But yeah, stay tuned and you'll find out. So before we start this video, I just want to say a huge thank you. We have just passed 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. That was sort of the first goal for this entire channel. So to pass it is, yeah, it's pretty satisfying that so many people have sort of watched so far, tuned into what I'm doing, and yeah, comment and talk to me about it. It is pretty satisfying. So yeah, thank you. Right, so I've got my laptop here to help me. I'm going to browse through some of my old photos. If I've got a photo of the car, I will try and put it on screen. If I've got several photos of the car, you know, where I got it standard, then modified, whatever, I'll try and get them all on screen. Whatever I've got, you'll see it. Right, so let's get to it. My first car. The first car I ever owned, the first car I drove after I passed my test, and that was the Beetle. I got this when I was 16. You will have seen the Beetle in a few videos. If you have watched the previous videos, you will have seen the Beetle in the background. Believe it or not, that thing did used to run, and that was my first car. I remember passing my test. I passed when I was 18, and yeah, got home from my test, rang up the insurance, insured the Beetle, fully comp, and yeah, went out with a load of my friends and it nearly caught fire. So yeah, there was 4 of us in the car, and a little thing with old VWs is a lot of people put the fuel filter inside the engine bay, and that is how, when you see camper vans burn down, Beetles burn down, that's how it's happening. They put a little plastic fuel filter inside the engine bay, that melts, and then it just sort of spills fuel over a hot engine. Now mine split, and basically because there's no fuel getting into the engine, it just cut out. So thankfully mine didn't set on fire, but there's a lesson to be learned here. Always carry a fire extinguisher in anything air cooled, especially if there is a fuel filter inside the engine bay. So Beetle, first, when I got it, it was completely matte black. It had a little zoom tube on the back. If anybody knows what a zoom tube is, it's basically like a... Beetles have got 2 centre exhausts, and this basically came out, and it was like a big tube that went, you know, like a side exit, effectively. A big side exit exhaust. So it was matte black, big zoom tube, Weller wheels that were chrome at the time, and then basically what I did with the Beetle is I painted the sides of it white, because I quite liked that look. My sort of ideal Beetle would be black roof and whatnot, white doors, and then sort of dark red, big banded steels and white wall tyres. I just think that is probably the coolest look for a Beetle, unless it's pristine, unless it's, you know, a really clean Beetle, in which case, you know, low and nice wheels and clean is probably my cup of tea. But yeah, so first thing, Beetle, that didn't last very long, and eventually the carb started, well, the carb broke, effectively. It was sucking in too much air. I kept turning the fuel up, and it started just spitting flames and stuff and not having any power. So yeah, it was pretty much all show and no go. Bought a new carb for it, and that sat in my bedroom ever since, because I realised that actually this car wasn't ideal for me as an 18-year-old to drive every day. So, end of that, and then my mum used to have an Audi A2. Again, quite a funky little car. Looks a bit like a Beetle, to be honest, but yeah, Audi A2. I drove that for a while, just work and back, and yeah, that was a cool little car. It was a bit of a stopgap. Obviously didn't modify it because technically it was my mum's. I just used it because she didn't use it at the time. So Audi A2, while I was saving up for my first sort of proper car, which was the Polo, the Mark II F Polo, which hopefully you've all seen on the videos. It's been getting rebuilt all winter, but yeah, that was my first proper car that I paid for with my own money, and yeah, absolutely loved that car. So yeah, that was a 1992 Polo, steel blue. First time round I had it, I got like coilovers, you know, clear headlights, clear side indicators, tinted all the headlights and stuff like that. And yeah, I had a set of 13-inch ATS cups, which are basically like everybody knows the 15-inch cups, but to me, I think the 13s look nicer. They're not as deep dish, and yeah, they're in sort of like anthracite, gunmetal grey, whatever you want to call it, with like a rainbow flake in it. I've definitely got some pictures of that, so I'll put them up here. But yeah, absolutely mint car. And yeah, and then I sold that and got a BMW. So 18 years old, bought a black 3 Series. It was E46 shape, coupe, because I do like a 3-door. Yeah, E46 coupe, 318, which was a 2-litre petrol. I think it is about 148 horsepower. But yeah, and as you can imagine, yeah, thought I was the dog's danglies in a BMW 18. It was black. I put black wheels on it. Lowered it a lot, and you know, little plate, number plate, didn't have that in the centre, had it off to the side. Again, I've got pictures of that, so I'll put it on the screen now. Put a touch screen in it, started wrapping things carbon fibre, all that sort of stuff that you do when you're 18. That didn't last very long. I had a bit of a close call with a bus going around a hairpin. It was raining, I went onto the grass, and yeah, rear wheel drive, rainy day, bit of grass, didn't go too well, and I completely stuffed it. So yeah, that was the end of the Beamer. I think I only had that about 3 months. Because I was 18, it was only insured third party. Obviously I crashed it, nobody else involved, but I took a massive loss. I'd saved up, the Polo money went into that, plus my extra money that I'd saved up went into that, plus all the modifications and whatnot, and yeah, third party, stuffed it, game over. Started again from zero. So yeah, that was quite an abrupt ending to that car. So after the BMW, decided I was quite into bikes at the time, rode BMX quite a lot, decided I wanted an estate. Okay, so after that I got an Audi A4 estate. It was a B6 shape, and it was the Sport, so it was a PD block, great engine, PD 130, same engine you get in like a Fabia VRS. I think you could get a Golf Mk2 GT TDI at the time with a PD 130, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, solid engine, had a good bit of power. Again, thought it was mint. It had great speakers, fridge in the glove box, everything like that. It was like a dark grey. But yeah, so that was the next car. Bought some coilovers for it, and was planning to do the whole thing again, coilovers, wheels, all that sort of jazz. And yeah, the coilovers arrived, we tried to fit them, turned out they were for a B5, and they were just like wrongly advertised. So yeah, sent them back. Nothing ever really happened with that car. It was just mint on fuel. It drove up and down the country to skate parks, to go view other cars with friends and stuff like that. It was pretty good. It was a good car, I liked it. Fit a load of people in, load of bikes, and yeah, just set off. Excellent car. Next car, right, so when I had the A4, this was the first point that I'd saved up enough money and could afford to insure a second car, okay? I was maybe 19 at the time. So I was 19 at the time, and my dream car is a Mark II Golf, okay? Mark II Golf, GTI, 16 valve. Gotta be 16 valve. Don't know what it is about them. Love them. So that is my dream car. Always wanted one. That is sort of my picture on the wall car that every kid's got. Anybody that's into cars, that was it. Mark II GTI, loved them. And yeah, obviously I'm up in Yorkshire, found this car. It was down in Portsmouth, okay? But it was the spec I wanted. I wanted it in either black or grey, 3-door, obviously, 16 valve, sunroof, quad headlight. Didn't really care about small bumper or big bumper. This was a small bumper. But yeah, what a car, absolutely loved it. It just had an engine rebuild from quite a sort of reputable company, and picked that up, chuffed to bits with it, drove it down the road, 16 miles I got, 16 miles, and a piston literally went through the side of the engine. I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I'd wanted this car for so long, and 16 miles. I'm talking Portsmouth as well. That is a long way, by the way. You know, that is a long... You get up Google Maps and have a look how long it is from anywhere up north to Portsmouth. If you go any further south, you're in the sea. Put it that way. So yeah, absolutely devastated. Have been ever since. That was a real bummer, to be honest. I don't know why it popped, to be honest. I just got it up to speed on the motorway, probably just got it up to about 60. I remember something just went bang, and my friend that was following me, I don't know whether it went underneath, it must have gone underneath and popped out, and I just saw something bouncing down the road in my rearview mirror, and I know my friend saw it coming towards him, and yeah, that must have just been a part of the engine or something like that, but I was absolutely devastated. Thankfully, I got my money back for that car. Obviously, the guy whose car it was that I just bought it off had a much better chance of getting his money back or getting it repaired, because he had all the receipts for the engine rebuild, everything like that. It had been running, by the way, you know, it probably had 5,000 miles on since the engine rebuild, so it had been running. He said that he'd, you know, used it regularly. It wasn't like it's been sat and not been used, but yeah, I was absolutely devastated. Got my money back, which was really nice of the guy, and yeah, I've seen it up for sale recently, so it's obviously fixed, it's gone to a new owner, and yeah, happy days. So, Mk2. After this, I went on a bit of a rebound. Basically, had a wad of cash, and I was a bit annoyed that my Mk2 had just blown up. So, I bought a Civic. Now, this is, still to this day, this is the only non-German car I've ever owned. I don't know why, I like VWs, and yeah, like VWs, like Mercs, like Audis, pretty much. A lot of people do. I just like German cars. But this Civic is one of those ones that I always go back to. So yeah, it was an AK4 VTI. You guessed it, black, 3-door. I think they all are, to be honest. All the sort of coupes are, not coupes, sorry. I think all the sort of hatches are, is it a coupe or a hatch? Either way, it was a 3-door. I put a picture up of it. So yeah, this basically had a B-series engine in. That's what everyone wants to know. It had a B-series. It was unbelievable. I got it fairly stock. It was on lowering springs and stuff like that, and I went sort of not whole hog, but went sort of, yeah, it was on lowering springs, lower strut brace, rear upper strut brace, front strut brace, you know, upgraded all the anti-roll bars, K&N intake, decats, exhaust, the lot, stripped it all out, 2 front seats, steering wheel, sort of massive pink gear shifter, and yeah, it was brilliant. Oh, red headlights, it had red headlights. Don't know what I was thinking, but yeah. There you go, there's a rebound. From a GTI, went from a black GTI to a black Civic with red headlights, so yeah. AK4 VTI, my lord, what a car. It was absolutely rapid. It was probably the most fun I've ever had in a car, but did get worried that I was going to crash it, to be honest. So that quickly went. That was the end of the Civic. Some guy came down all the way from Scotland to get that, so yeah, he was really happy with it. And yeah, what a mint car. Absolutely love that car. Would definitely have another Civic with a B series in, either a EG or an EK probably. I would have either of those, or the really old square Hondas. Love those too. But yeah, do fancy another Honda at some point, so watch this space. It might come. If I can find a good one at a good price, it might come. So after the Civic, I'd gone obviously from, by the way, I had the A4 and the Civic at the same time. So the next car was probably my first proper car. It was the first car that really cost anything. Before this, I'd sort of been messing around with sort of, I don't know, £2,000 cars, stuff like that. Nothing really cost more than £2,000. Mk2 Golf GTI black 3-door. Who'd have guessed it? But Mk2 GTI, and this was my first sort of proper car. I think by this point I'd touched 20, so I was 20 years old. I had 2 years no claims, obviously because I didn't claim on my BMW. That was just suck it up and buy another car. So 2 years no claims, Mk2 GTI, could only afford to insure it third party, I'm fairly sure. So yeah, basically got my money together, sold the A4, sold the Civic, bought a Mk2 GTI, and yeah, again, absolutely loved that car. Straight away, it got a decat. I think the second day that I got it, it had a forged twin take fitted to it. Yeah, brilliant car. Had a lot of fun with that. I put a new set of tyres on. I put Michelin Pilot Super Sports on. They lasted about 6,000 miles, but oh my god, the grip was unreal. Any corner, any speed, you know, rain, sleet, snow, didn't really matter. These tyres just absolutely nailed it. It was brilliant. Love that car. And then, yeah, basically had that for a little while and packed up everything and moved to Manchester. So that was the end of it. I didn't drive anymore. Went to uni, either 20, 21 maybe, and yeah, just that was it. Just stopped driving and sort of fell out of love with it a little bit. Well, I suppose because I wasn't driving, I sort of stopped missing it. But yeah, it was a weird one. So I went to uni, and after a couple of months of being there, I ended up selling a Mark V. So lived in Manchester 2 or 3 years, something like that. And just before I moved back to Yorkshire, I bought a Skoda Fabia. It was sort of like a, you know, I didn't have any money. I just stopped being a student, just got a part-time job, needed a car. Skoda Fabia. It was very basic. It was about £600. It was a 1.4 multi-point injection. I think it had 60 horsepower. It was not very good. I had a tape player, but basically it was black. I think that was just luck of the draw, to be honest. I don't think I was really that fussed at 600 quid, which is what it costs. I don't think I was that fussed on colour that time, but yeah, do like black cars, so black is what it ended up being. So yeah, Skoda Fabia. There's nothing exciting about that. I didn't do anything to it, nothing at all. Didn't really cause me any problems, and yeah, had it for a bit, then sold it on, and you know, started working my way back up some cars. So Skoda Fabia. After that, sold that, and I got a Mark IV Golf. Okay, now I remember ringing one of my friends who's a mechanic and telling him, I was like, oh mate, you'll never guess what I've just bought. I've bought a little Mark IV Golf, like, you know, thinking, oh, this is great, I love it, I'm back in a half decent car. And he was just like, you'll regret that. I was like, oh, what have I done? What have I bought? So 1.6 black 4-door, and yeah, caused me nothing but problems. It was an absolute nightmare. Everything just stopped working one after another. You know, fuel pumps, alternators, everything just started going. So yeah, didn't have that very long and ended up flogging it. Didn't modify it. Oh, I'll tell you what, I did modify it. I put some tinted GTI rear lights on it, and that was it. That was the only thing I did. Probably some Bosch windscreen wipers and some different headlights. But yeah, Mark IV Golf. Didn't have the best experience with it. It was £800. It had a lot of miles on, so could be something to do with it. But yeah, probably would have another Mark IV. Really love the anniversaries, and I really love Mark IV R32s. They are a sick car. Again, definitely on the list somewhere. I do love a Mark V Golf, but if I was going to get an R32, it would have to be Mark IV, I think. Either 3-door black or 3-door blue would be my two choices. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. I know Mark IV R32s are a popular car, so if you want to see one on the channel, drop it in the comments, because I could be tempted. So Mark IV Golf went, and then the next car after that was a Polo 9N3. Okay, so it was a 2008. It was a Polo match, which was basically like a run-out edition. It had electric windows, it had aircon, you know, alloys, it had everything. Everything you could want from a 2008 Polo, effectively. Black, 3-door. Can you see the theme going on here? Yeah, me too. So yeah, didn't do anything to this car. It was a 1.4 TDI. I believe that had 80 horsepower. 1.4 TDI, 3-cylinder. Oh my god, put a tenner in it and you would go to the moon and back. It was unbelievable on fuel. So yeah, again, if you're a fuel efficient car, you're not bothered what it looks like. I paid £1,000 for it. It had 110,000 miles on when I got it, and one owner. Didn't have any problems with it, and yeah, 10 quid. Oh god, you're talking 100 miles, easy. It ran on fumes, it was unbelievable. So yeah, black Polo. After that, I had a little bit of spare cash, and me and my dad wanted to buy a car to flip. Okay, so this is the first car I'd bought with the intention of making a profit on, right? So what we bought, what we're looking out for basically, was a Mercedes 190e. Now these are a sick car. This was like arguably the last of the really well-made Mercedes that didn't go rusty. And yeah, we were looking for one of these. Got one for, I don't know, maybe about 1,800 quid. It was a bargain. Had 46,000 miles on. It was white. It was POV spec. I won't lie, it was POV spec. It was manual, which I liked. I like manual cars. White manual, and it was a 1.8. So it was like the slowest base spec, you know, pretty much, probably a company car, something like that. But it was immaculate, and I'm talking immaculate. There was no rust on it at all. It was spotless. It was such a nice car, real wafty, as you can imagine from a 90s Merc. But yeah, brilliant car. Took it to Mercedes, gathered up all the service history, gave it a proper good polish, gave it a service, replaced any parts that needed doing. I think we're about, probably put £1,000 into sort of tightening it up, servicing it, stuff like that. Yeah, I can't really remember what we did, but yeah, probably about £1,000 in. So then we're at 2.8, okay, which I think we overspent on it. I don't think we should have spent that much because I didn't think people would care on the parts we did, but we're talking like top mounts with slight play, replaced them, genuine Mercedes parts, got the work done at Mercedes, stuff like that. So yeah, we're about 2,800 quid in it, and flipped it for 3,600, okay, which by today's standards is actually 3,600 quid for a 190 with 46,000 miles on is quite a good buy. I'm seeing people asking like 8 grand for these cars now, and this is only 2 years ago that we've sold it. So yeah, prices have gone mental on 190s. Again, would love another. Definitely black, it'd have to be. The 190s in black look so good. So yeah, 190, flipped it. So sold the 903, had a little bit of money from the 190, put that together, and that's when I bought the A3. The A3 that's on the channel now, that's when I bought it. So, apart from the obvious 3-door black, it's a black edition S-Line, and it is the 170 horsepower version. Now, this had loads of problems with it, I won't lie. It was high mileage, it had loads of problems. The central locking didn't work, it had rusty wings, the wheels were knackered, loads of electrical gremlins and stuff like that. But yeah, it was cheap. As you can imagine, I only sold a Polo 903. You know, we're not talking a lot of money here. So yeah, it was cheap. Slowly I've been fixing it up to a point where now it's pretty good. You know, it's my daily car, it does the job, it's quite powerful at 170 horsepower, it's not bad, and it's good on fuel. It does over 50 to the gallon. What more can you want? You know, the GTI that I had was only 200 horsepower. So yeah, this is 170 and still does 50 to the gallon, so it's like the best of both worlds. Same engine as a Mark 6 Golf GTD, exactly the same engine. So that's what it is basically in an Audi shell. But yeah, it does me, it's good for every day, and yeah, go check out the videos if you haven't already seen them on the A3. So meanwhile, I've got my car, got the A3, I'm working full time again, and I've got a little bit of money starting to build up, and I start thinking about second cars again. So saving up. Well, to be fair, I didn't have to save up that much. I've been browsing Facebook Marketplace the night before, and I find my old car, the Mk2 Polo, okay? Mk2 facelift Polo. So this is, you know, skip back, we've gone back 13 cars here to my third car. So Beetle A2 Polo. And it's the same one, exactly the same one. It's effectively my first car, and I find it for sale at a time where I've got a bit of spare cash, and I was having it. There was no two ways about it. I was having it. You know, who would not want to buy the first car back? Answer me that. And especially when it's as cool as this. I love it. I love the Polos. They're just brilliant. So yeah, went to this guy's house. He was taking me through the service history and stuff. He was like, oh, it's had this done, it's had this done. I was like, yeah, I know, that was me. I'm having it. Don't worry about saying all this, just I'm having the car. Don't matter what. He's like, oh, I haven't got a spare wheel for it. It's like, it's fine. It's still in my garage from the first time I owned it. And took it out for a test drive. It drove pretty badly. I won't lie. It drove pretty badly. Kept cutting out, and yeah, drove pretty badly. But I couldn't do anything about it. It's my first car. I was having it. You know, it was just one of those where the car could have not turned on, and I think I'd have bought it anyway, to be honest. It was, yeah, that was such a such a heart over head decision, to be honest. There was no thinking behind it at all. I just bought it, and yeah, here it is today. So that is the Mk2 Polo. Like I said, go check out the other videos. There are loads of videos on this. Now it's got, you know, custom gas coilovers. It's got fresh BBS arrays on. Loads of little bits that we've done. Just had some new doors. It's got GT arches. Still looking for new bumpers. I've got some new headlights, all that sort of stuff, eyebrows. But yeah, go check out those videos because this car is seriously cool. And you don't see that many of them. I dare say you probably see more Mark 1 and Mark 2 Golfs than you do old Polos. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drop it in the comments if you think I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Okay, so Mark 2 Polo, and yeah, so that's 14 cars. We're up to 14 cars so far. Okay, and there's two more cars that I don't know if I'm going to tell you about. Okay, one of the cars, it's actually a van. The van has been on my Instagram. It's been on my Instagram stories, but I haven't introduced it to the channel yet. So, go follow me on my Instagram. You'll see the behind the scenes. You might start seeing clips of new cars and stuff like that. Go follow it, and yeah, you might see it on there. But, it's a VW, it's a van, it's old, it's air-cooled. That's all I can tell you for now. I will do a proper walk around, I'll do an introduction, all that sort of stuff. But for now, subscribe to the channel and you will see all these future updates. And then the 16th car, okay, the 16th car has never been on my Instagram. It's never been on YouTube, but it exists, okay? So, yeah, I've got a new car, pretty much. I haven't sold anything. I've still got the Beetle, still got the Polo, still got the A3, still got the van. But there's another new car coming to the channel very soon, okay? And it is a good one. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you subscribe. There is lots coming. Like I said, there's two new cars and possibly a third in the pipeline coming to the channel that nobody has seen yet, okay? So subscribe, leave a comment what you think it is. Give this video a thumbs up. I hope you've enjoyed learning all about my car history, what I've had, why I've had it, and what I did to it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.